I'm Yanis Yanguar, and in this chapter of the Sophomoric Guide to D&D 5e, we are going to look at intelligence ability checks. And those consist of Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, and Religion checks. Intelligence measures mental acuity, accuracy of recall, and the ability to reason. And intelligence checks comes into play when you need to draw on logic, education, memory, or deductive reasoning. The Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, and Religion skills reflect this aptitude in certain kinds of intelligence checks. Arcana checks, for example, measure ability to recall lore about spells, magic items, eldritch symbols, magical traditions, and planes of existence, and the inhabitants of those planes. History checks would measure ability to recall lore about historical events, legendary people, ancient kingdoms, past disputes, recent wars, and even lost civilizations. Additionally, you'd make a nature check if you want to recall information about a terrain, plants, animals, the weather, or even nature cycles. And lastly, in this case, you would also do the same thing for religion to recall about lore about deities, gods, rites, and prayers, religious hierarchies, holy symbols, and the practices of secret cults. And lastly, to make an investigation check, when you look around for clues and make deduction based on those clues, you make a investigation check. You might deduce the location of a hidden object, discern from the appearance of a wound what kind of weapon it was dealt with, or determine the weakest point in a tunnel that could cause a collapse. Pouring through ancient scrolls in search of a hidden fragment of knowledge might also call for an intelligence check. Other intelligence checks might be to communicate with a creature without using words, estimate the value of an item, hold together a disguise to pass as a city guard, forge a document, recall lore about a craft or trade, or win a game of skill. Additional checks for Arcana would be to recall magical lore, identify a magic item's abilities given a large amount of time. I mean, maybe to a certain degree you have a certain inclination of the school, if not necessarily the specifics without the GM approval, in my opinion at least. I explain magical theory, understanding spells like the effect and its casting ideas, also its components I would imagine. Construct elementals, magical beast, and dragon lore specifically, those would fall under Arcana. Detect and disable magical traps, and knowledge of planes. And then we have history, for example, which would be lore about what happened before, reciting historical lore as a form of performance, and of course giant, humanoid, and monstrosity lore. Then for nature, we would also have knowledge of natural terrain. And then lastly, we have investigation, which would be the search for clues on a person or area, see through illusions, verifying rumors, locating someone or the weak points of something, search in libraries for a specific type of information, deduce details based on available clues, and then of course figure out how to avoid triggering an identified and still active trap by not interacting with it, and then of course guess a character's deductible attributes. And I think even without DM approval, you should be able to have some idea what's going on with the person. Future Yan is here, and if you have any other curiosities or if you want to give any other ideas of how to use this ability check, why don't you throw them down in the comments? And if you have a Discord, if you're a noob like me, I mean, if you're a little nervous, it's okay. If you have any comments, questions, queries, curiosities, feel free to join up or comment down below. And if you have any ideas for a tutorial, let me know. Thanks.